Let's all laugh at the sugars, part 12. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. We haven't had a good chortle at the sugars for a little while, and since that is long overdue, it's time to have a look at some of the screenshots that I've taken of the slops of their delinquent mind as they get themselves all worked up about Harry's wife and her portrayal in my videos. We know that the sugars are pretty dim-witted, unable to critically appreciate evidence. Some are bots, others simply do what they do because they're paid to do it. The others operate through a deluded mindset caused by the fact that they somehow see Harry's wife as their queen and that they believe that she's some kind of leader to them. She doesn't give a rat's ass about them. As a narcissist, she doesn't give a fig about who they are or what they do, but simply utilises them as coterie members. They are there to be used as attack dogs, often seen around Twitter, berating people, smearing the Prince and Princess of Wales, King Charles, Camilla, etc. And as always, they bleat about the treatment that Harry's wife purportedly receives whilst engaging in similar behaviour towards other people and fail to see their rampant hypocrisy. We do, of course. We see what hypocrites they are, but we also see what clueless clowns they actually are, that the sole brain cell that gets passed around them is invariably missing when their palsied fingers are removed from their mittens and they stab away at their keyboards, trying to come up with something that's going to trouble the ultra. Instead, it provides me with a useful opportunity to rip the piss out of them, but also to emphasise my lesson that I invariably, repeatedly explain to you about the analysis of evidence and not jumping to conclusions. Accordingly, time to laugh at the sugars. I'd recommend that you're not holding any fluids, that there are no fluids in your mouth, that you're not eating, and that you are ready to have a good laugh at the sugars. Here we go. Our first message comes from Messrs. K&H. Are you paparazzi or a tabloid journalist yourself? Well, I suppose that's a fair question. Might want to ask such a question, suspect that I might be that. No, I'm not. You conveniently ignore the vicious, relentless racist attacks on Harry's wife that led to Harry and his wife leaving the United Kingdom. Do you know what? You're absolutely right, Messrs. K&H. I do ignore them. Do you know why? They don't exist. There aren't vicious, racist attacks on Harry's wife. They aren't relentless. Relentless means it keeps coming and coming and coming. A little bit like the idiocy that you spout and the crap that comes out of your mouth and out of your fingertips. Harry's wife, of course, perceived that she was under attack. Harry's wife, of course, perceived that she's the victim because her narcissism does so. But Messrs. K&H, I'd invite you to point to the actual evidence of these relentless racist attacks, and I'm entirely confident you won't be able to do so. You're just spouting what Harry's wife spouted, without any due regard for the evidence. You explained that more than anything put them in the spotlight. Good for Harry for not taking it lying down. Well, I believe ordinarily he does take it lying down when out comes the old strap-on, but that's observations for another day. Boom, it's Nicole St. John. Bot channel for idiots. Short and sweet. How you arrive at the conclusion, though, Nicole St. John, that this is a bot channel, well, that can only be as a consequence of the fact that you're thick as mince. Do you think that this is a bot speaking to you now? No. Perhaps, but you won't do this because it's too beyond you, that perhaps if you'd actually listened to many of my videos, you would realise that this is an actual human being that's talking, and it isn't a bot channel. Nor is it festooned with bots, because those that comment upon it, it can be seen with the varied nature of the observations that they don't come from bots. Indeed, the only bots that occasionally pop up are those in the Sugars, those in the Sussex squad. And therefore, once again, we have an idiot who jumps to a conclusion by throwing out there the allegation that this is a bot channel when it quite clearly isn't. It just shows the dim-witted nature of the Sugars, that they have the knee-jerk reaction without any due regard for evidence. Susan Sharp comes along. Harry's wife is stunning. She's not. She is far from stunning. There are far more beautiful women in the world than her. She's intelligent. No, she's not. She isn't intelligent at all. The word salads that she spouts are dull, industrial beige. She has no talent in that regard, and her lack of intelligence is demonstrated repeatedly by her behaviours. And kind. No, it's just a facade of kindness, as I have explained, and she certainly isn't kind to Princess Charlotte, or to staff, or to the royal family. Tudor not so much. Well, I wouldn't describe myself as stunning, ruggedly handsome is more accurate. Intelligent, I'm extremely intelligent, as the quality of my work evidences. And you're right, I'm not particularly kind, although I can do kind if it suits me. But as you know, or ought to know, if you've been listening for a while, it's done from a position of an absence of emotional empathy. But to describe Harry's wife as stunning, intelligent and kind, Susan, demonstrates that you clearly have been on the piss for far too long. We now have Kelly Antoinette. Why are you so jealous of Harry's wife? Once again, ticks the box for being a sugar because she can't spell her heroine's name correctly, and also gets it wrong. It's envy that you're looking for. Jealousy is the fear of losing something. So, for instance, a dictator is jealous of his power, or a narcissist might be jealous of his girlfriend because he's concerned that he's going to lose her to somebody else. But Harry's wife isn't my partner, I'm pleased to say. So what you mean is, why are you so envious of her? It's never a good start to get what you're stating completely wrong when you're accusing me of something, because all it does is make you look stupid and gives me an opportunity to set you straight. Quite simply, I am not envious of Harry's wife, not in the slightest, as I make it very clear in the videos that I create. And naturally, I'm not jealous of her for reasons that I've already set out. So that's a resounding defeat for Kelly Antoinette, who can scurry away back under her sugar rock. Tigist Michael. Condescending Caucasian colonisers. Well, I'll give you a point for decent alliteration. Harry's wife, incorrectly spelt again. Both names incorrectly spelt, both first name and surname, so sugar credentials being confirmed there. She's classy and intelligent. Maybe by your standards, Tigist Michael, because you are an epsilon semi-moron and basically a gutter snipe. And therefore, I suppose she does look classy and intelligent to someone such as you, but to someone such as I, who is urbane and extremely intelligent, she has neither class nor intelligence. She has a considerable shortfall in that regard. The raciest British, what is this? Athletics, we're all sprinting now, are losing their influence and power throughout the world. Well, I wouldn't be too sure about that. Of course, it suits you to try and make that allegation because your little impotent fists are beating against the edifice of those that rule over you. Although the British Empire doesn't exist as it once did, you should not underestimate its reach financially. When we started to let countries have their independence, Britain and the United States started to create a financial empire instead, much of which you haven't a clue about. But that's a topic for another day. But the simple fact is that you end by saying the TIG is a beautiful and inspiring blog, which demonstrates that you've taken leave of your senses and you need immediate medical intervention. Tony Johnston has a try now. OMG, so many idiots falling for this trash. The whole of the Queen's funeral was televised. Harry's wife was nowhere near Princess Charlotte. That's strange, because What I watched showed that she was near her. That's why Sophie had to come in and do some shielding. So you're trying to revise history there, Tony Johnson. You're trying to tell us something that didn't happen that actually did. I've no time for Harry and Harry's wife, but this absolute crap is as disturbing as Jeremy Clarkson's newspaper article. Unfortunately, Tony, you need to go and perhaps have a lie down and put a wet towel around your head. Your recollection of events is rather skewed, and I would suggest that you think long and hard before you next attempt to make a point. We then have Andrea Kolilhausen. What an utter rubbish. Okay, well, I suspect that English isn't your first language, hence the mistake that you make in the very beginning. I am so sick of hearing this. She has never been and is absolutely no narcissist. Oh dear, Andrea. Oh dear. Oh dear. You see, if you actually watched my videos, if you looked at all of the evidence, and you looked at all of the behaviours that have been reported on from a wide variety of sources, you couldn't fail to understand that she's a narcissist, which either means you have failed to look at the evidence, or you're an idiot. I'll let you decide which one it is. She is extremely warm, well, I suppose she might be if she's burning in the pits of hell, empathetic. She's got about as much emotional empathy as I have, i.e. none. Loving and caring person. Oh dear, Andrea, you really need to step back from the crystal meth. And everyone who repeats over and over again that she is a narcissist does not make this true. No, you're right. It doesn't make it true. What makes it true is the evidence that shows that she is. The evidence that you haven't looked at. And I bet whoever tells this lie does not know her personally. Sugar indicator. You don't know her. Well, as I told you before, I met her several times. Shame on you. There's no shame here. I didn't experience it. This is just one of these evil and constant lies about Harry's wife. It's not evil. Calling somebody a narcissist isn't evil, you dimwit. It's simply an assessment of what that individual is. Rather than you getting yourself all aerated about it, you clown. And it's not a lie, because it's entirely accurate. Another idiot dispensed with. Now, our next individual is Cassandra Anna Carey. This isn't so much as a sugar, but it does provide you with a useful opportunity both to laugh at her, but also see the inherent contradictions that this individual engages in. You will see that there are 4 screenshots from this individual all around the same time. She starts off with, H.G. Tudor is a highly intelligent. You're not, because you've written the sentence incorrectly, but kudos for getting that bit right in terms of identifying that I'm highly intelligent. Overweight? No, I'm not. Out of shape? No, I'm not. Short? No, I'm not. You see, if you look at my Instagram, you can see that I'm neither overweight, out of shape, or short. But you see, Cassandra, you wouldn't bother to do that, would you? You haven't actually seen any pictures of me whatsoever. What you've done is just decide that you're going to throw that at me for the purpose of insulting me, because you think you're clever. Blonde, that's true. Aging, well, we all are, but I wouldn't be described as aged. Addict, addicted to fuel, I suppose that's relevant, but to anything else, no. Who lives in his mother's house. Again, if you'd have seen the videos that are provided in the membership and, of course, looked at the materials posted on Instagram, you'll see that's not the case. And writes for several different online blogs and websites to earn money. No. What evidence do you have of that? You don't have any. Why? Because none exists. What I do is create videos on YouTube, write material on my blog, which then is also sent to Twitter and also sent to Facebook. I have an Instagram page also, but I don't write for different online blogs and websites. He pays no bills. No, I do, because I like my electricity to remain on. So all his money goes for women, porn and drugs. I do spend money on women. I don't need to buy any porn, and nor do I need to buy any drugs. And whatever he needs to purchase to secure his next victim. I don't necessarily need to buy anything, Cassandra, for the purpose of ensnaring a victim. Simply a smile and some well-chosen words suffice. Why are all narcissists drug and porn addicts? Well, actually they're not, but you could, of course, watch my video, The Porn Supremacy, to understand why some narcissists utilise porn extensively and gain yourself an education. So along comes Cassandra and decides that she's going to throw some spurious insults at me, all very entertaining. But then she's getting down to talk about herself. I got rid of him. Okay, I haven't lost a thing, just gained some insight on NPD. He hasn't hurt me. I never loved him. When I as was in his world, I wanted the experience. Having had that, I backed up, cleaned up, and got a job. Interesting, you cleaned up? Why, are you an addict? There was a respite. And he hoovered me, of course. Well, is that the laughing narcissist that comes along and hoovers you with gay abandon? He claimed he was getting help, but you're right. He never stayed more than a couple of days when the mask slipped, and he discarded me first when this cycle began. It's like a competition almost. I ghost him, smear him, and sabotage him. Right, okay, flexing, huh? I caused him to be evicted from the place. He lived with a non-intimate secondary supply. So you caused him to be evicted. So you ghost him, you smear him, you sabotage him, you cause him to be evicted. You don't reply, he harasses me and hoovers me. I become problematic. And he attempts to devalue me. And I just kick his ass out with a "you don't talk to me like that." I found screaming at him, letting him see men fall all over me and tell him I just don't care is how I conquered this asshole. Well, assuming you are dealing with a narcissist, you're doing everything wrong with what you've described there. And of course, what you describe in terms of your own behaviour starts to paint a picture. But there's more. She comes back with, "I am such better quality supply," awful word, "than his other sources. Why is that?" Oh, you say so yourself, do you? You've clearly got a very high opinion of yourself. Why are his other sources often homeless women with no self-respect? Bit of a judgment to make there. And given the fact that you made a judgment about me, Cassandra Anna Carey, it's hardly a surprise that you would do that also. Next, she adds, "Mine does. He settles into a long run of mainlining cocaine when I discard him first." Of course you get rid of him, because you are the almighty behemoth that is Cassandra Anna Carey. I, of course, am clean and do not engage in this behaviour anymore, nor have I in 8 months. I don't believe you. I think you're there hoovering it up your nostrils. He is extremely low value. Why is someone with such little value, who is a junkie, who doesn't work but lives off other people, why is this person a narcissist? I have BDP. Do you now? Not BPD, but BDP. And I tend to think in black and white, so when he's painted black, it's black. I tricked him to leave me today. Insulted first, of course, then block and delete. Of course there is a smear campaign because he isn't well liked. He's a human parasite and I thought I could save him. A borderline and a narcissist, two sides of the same coin. Well, to an extent you're right there if you were to watch my video, Borderline. But here, valuable viewers, is an excellent opportunity for you to see somebody that comes along and decides to throw around some insults and then, in 3 screenshots, gives us quite a good indicator of what this individual actually is. And you, of course, can laugh at her high-handed self-absorption and make your own mind up about what truly she is. I'm H.D. Tudor. Thank you for listening.